So you just bought some fancy competition gear, or quite honestly, you just bought new gear and you want to know how to set it up. If so, you've come to the right place. What's up guys, my name is Rob Epifania. I'm a USPSA Grandmaster and I'm the owner of Systematic Performance Concepts. In this video today, I'm going to talk about gear setup real quick. Let's first talk about holster setup. Now, in competition oriented setups and even in a lot of your outside the waistband holster setups, we have a hanger setup and a holster setup. So competition here, we have a hanger set up here that is separate from the holster. Now, in this case, I happen to be using a race holster because my other guns that use my typical bucket style holster didn't fit in there. That occasionally happens, so a race holster just allows you, it holds with less retention than a typical holster would, and for me, I like it because it can lock up. It's very relatively compact, and it could fit any double stack 1911 style gun. In this case, it happens to be the Gerson 2311 and hold it securely. Now, you want to set up your holster. Here are the steps that you need to take in order to find out the proper location for you. First thing you have to do is start with your hands at wherever your normal position would be to draw the gun, right? In my case, shoulder stays up, my hands sit around here. Wrist below belt is the start position. Doesn't really matter where this wrist is, as long as they're below. And I'm not touching the gun. So the thing is, take this belt as it is, have this hanger on there, if you have it, and just go to where does my hand want to go? Do a couple of different ways. So common ways, right? Wrist below belt is one of them. Wrist above shoulders, another one, right? Touching something, so if my hands are touching, like a common USPSA or a competition start, hands on a barrel, hands on the walls, right? Where does my hand want to go, right? And you can see it pretty much wants to go where my gun is right now, because I've done this. For you guys are going to find it wants to go, the hands want to go to a specific spot. That is where you're going to set your hanger up, right? In this case, I'm using the Henning Group T1000 hanger. Excellent system, really good for if you want to swap guns. I take 2 screws out, slide this off, put the next one on, less than a minute. It is exceptional. Plus it has all the adjustments you could possibly want or need. Now, we find out the location of the gun. That's great. Now we're going to put the hanger there. We're going to put the holster on. Now, when we adjust the holster, something you want to pay attention to is the angle of the grip in relation to the belt line. If you look at the angle of the grip, you're going to want to make this angle as flat as you possibly can. Like the average of the angle here, you want that to be flat, right? A lot of people want to put the muzzle straight up and down. But if you look at this, the angle is tilted up. When you have that sort of angle on your gun, now your shoulder has to rotate in order to get a grip on the gun. Not ideal for efficiency. So if you have the opportunity to do it, what you'll want to do is make this angle as flat as possible, which typically means the muzzle will be in front of the optic or the sights, the rear sight, let's say, right? It's gonna, instead of being straight, it's gonna have an angle like this. Now, a couple things happen when you do it this way. For one, it gives a little bit of an easier path for the draw, a little bit easier path to release the gun. It's in line with your arms a lot better. Your shoulder doesn't have to do anything to get the gun. And if you happen to be a person who switches platforms a lot, the grip is going to feel the same. So this is a double stack 1911, a Glock, entirely different angle. But if you can keep this kind of rotation about the same, where this back strap is flat, you're going to have better results in the sense of your gun's going to draw about the same regardless of what gun it is. Now, once you do that, you put your holster on, you set this up this way, right? In USPSA, the grip has to be above the belt line. So that is a rule that you have to follow. Otherwise, that's up to you where you want to set the height. So once you've done that, now it's a matter of just practicing draws in a multitude of different ways to make sure that the gun is presenting how you want it, right? You practice a bunch of different styles of draws, right? Hands on something, right? And don't mind me, I don't have an inner belt on. So competition belts, inner belt, outer belt. Inner belt is Velcro. Outer belt is the opposite end of the Velcro. It's the hook. So it gives you a very secure fit. I've lost a little bit of weight with all my endurance training, and I am not wearing an inner belt, I'm just wearing sweatpants. So I'm being a bit lazy. You shouldn't be that in the competition, but I do it in training sometimes. So again, practicing different positions so that we know this position feels right. Now, with something like the Henning Group hanger, you have adjustments to adjust how the gun tilts this way. You have rotational, and you also have, let's do this. So you have the opportunity to adjust the rotation like this. You have the opportunity to adjust the angle of the grip, right? So the grip can be straight, it could be a little into you, it could be a little out. And then you also have the opportunity to adjust the tilt of the gun. So a little bit further out, a little bit further in. For me personally, I tend to have it not pretty straight for me, but again, this is subjective. This is why the adjustments are there. Your job is to draw the gun, and if you feel that there's something that can make it a little better, it's hanging up in some way, adjust it. Make a little adjustment here and there and fine tune it. This way, you get a gun that's in the best possible position where your hand naturally wants to go, that's set up in a way where the gun releases very easily, which allows you to get a faster draw. So that is the holster. Now, let's talk about mag pouches. Okay, again, so I'm using a couple things here. I have the Henning Group mag pouches. These are the Magnum pouches. I think they're T900s is what they're called. Back here, I have TXC holsters, Kydex pouch with a Henning Group adapter installed on it. Why the Kydex and the Magnum pouches? The magnets are great, but if you're accidentally hit it, it's really hard to knock off. I haven't really had them fall off very often in competitions, rarely. But for that one time that Murphy decides he wants to strike, Murphy's Law, I have a pouch here that is fully enclosed, fully secure. Both of these makers are great makers. I'm a big fan of the magnet pouch for a couple reasons. One, because it allows you to release the mag very nicely. Actually, I think my favorite thing about it is also I can use a bunch of different mags. So I have the 2011 mag adapter here, so it can't rotate, but I can put a Canic mag on here, I can put a Beretta mag, it doesn't matter. I can put I've run multiple mags on this, makes it easy. That's what I really, really like about it. The only thing you can't do is Glock plastic mags because they don't have enough magnet strength to be able to hold on here consistently. I can still put it there, even this double alpha, which is largely plastic, it'll stay there, but it doesn't stay there very well. Right, so the Glock has the same problem. Now, mag pouches. The thing I like to do, again, if you have division rules, like when I first started shooting production, I had to be hip bones back, so that's a rule, that's a locational rule that I had to follow. In this case, that we don't have that anymore, especially shooting limited or limited optics. That's not really a thing. You could put it anywhere. However, I want to make sure that it's not in a place that's cumbersome to me. So I want to make sure that I can do reloads while I'm moving, I can do them while I'm standing, and that these don't feel like they're getting in the way in any manner. So, finding out the way that we find out the reload position, like the adjustment of the pouch, I don't worry so much about the location. More in the front is a little bit more friendly to the shoulder, right? The thing that I'm most concerned about is typically the tilt angle, right? Because the more straight up and down, the more your shoulder has to move, the more your wrist has to break to get a grip on the mag, right? So I like to be able to keep this nice straight wrist and essentially pop the mag off. So being able to do that is highly important. So you need to adjust the angle for that. What I like to do is I like to set up the mag pouch where it is, wherever I want to put it, and set it up reasonably snug, but not so tight that it doesn't move. Because if it's too tight that I can't move, it won't adjust as I grab the mag a couple times. So what I do is I set this up, snug it, but not so tight that it can't move at all. And then I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to hold my hand out, I'm going to grab the mag and bring it up a couple times. And what I'm going to find is if I like it, right, I'm going to test how it feels. Does it hang up? Right, in this case, again, I'm not wearing an inner belt, so there's not as much hold on this belt, so sometimes it'll pop up on me. But you can see, largely speaking, I'm not having an issue. Right, so how does it feel when I'm grabbing the mag? Okay, is it hanging up at all? If so, we got to make some adjustments to the different angles we have. We have the opportunity to make the mag straighter or more angled. We have the opportunity here to make the mag more like this or that. And those are the two adjustments that I really have there. But you can get a lot out of that, being able to adjust those two axes. With your other pouches, with Kydex pouches, you're going to see the same thing. Like, I'm going to want to see, notice how this is straighter. The further back you get, the less angle you want, because the wrist angle becomes straighter. If I have this angle back, like my wrist has to break all the way down like that. And it's really a pain in the ass. And it's your shoulder now has to come back further to get this mag out. So the further back you go, the straighter up the pouches get, right? I want to make sure this is like where I feel natural. You do this with all your pouches. Does this feel natural? Does it feel like it's easy to grab? And in this case, it does. Even going back to the fourth pouch here. I haven't even practiced from the fourth pouch in a long time, right? But I'm not trying to put any extra effort into getting the mags. So what's going to happen is when you have it snug but not entirely tight, it's going to shift a little bit based on how you're pulling the mag out. And doing that multiple times is going to start to put the mag pouch in a place where it stays. And that's where you're going to want to tighten it initially. You make that initial adjustment, make it tight, and then do a bunch more like this where I'm grabbing the mag and making sure, hey, this doesn't hang up, this feels really good. And then when I'm able to do reloads, it doesn't cause any issue about getting the mag off the belt, bringing it up to the gun. Everything goes up very nicely. So now, lastly speaking, this is just for unloaded starts. So unloaded starts, I put this here, and then when I bring the gun up, I can use this without having to go from a mag pouch here. IPSC shooters, I don't know if that's, I don't remember if that's allowed. Check your division rules, make sure it's applicable. I do not remember. So, but this is for unloaded starts here. This is also for stowing, meaning if I have to pick up a mag, load the gun, or I'm not allowed to have mags on the belt, I grab this, and instead of having to put it in here, I could just plop it on there. So this is just inexpensive, 20 bucks. I still pay attention to how it feels, right? The same kind of thing, but this, the adjustment is me putting it in the right spot versus it being in the right spot to begin with. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Guys, quick video talking about gear setup. I hope this was helpful for you. I know people were asking for it. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and thanks for watching. Have the best day, guys.